Hello, I'm Mr. Parker, and I live on Music Street. We're all at home right now trying out this weird new way of learning, so why don't we turn music class into a TV show? Here's how we do it. First we do a warm-up and we dance upon the ground. Then put the words on the tips of our tongues and twist them all around. We take our vocal cords and then we get them all relaxed. Then echo songs for me to sing to you that you sing back. Then we'll sing in canon just for fun, 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 fun. Reach into the grab bag, see what we can find. Books galore and stories so we don't all lose our minds. What's in Mr. Parker's house? Don't you wanna know? Then stuff for you to do after you finish up the show. It's the house on Music Street.
Hey there, all my little astronauts. Mr. Parker here, and thank you for joining us for episode number 5 of The House on Music Street. It's the only show that you don't have to like, but you do have to sing along to. We're so glad you came back because this week, this episode is going to the moon, baby! Sorry. Did it turn the back? It's supposed to be the background.
Sorry, I'm trying.
Come on, we spent all that money.
Sorry.
Anyway, I don't know what we're going to do with Ted. Follow me as we go to outer space for the whole episode.
Body warm up.
Little astronaut, this is Mission Control. Do you read me? Over.
Yes, over.
Your job today is of the utmost importance. You'll be bringing the gift of rock and roll to everyone in outer space. It's a factical, tactical, intergalactical mission through outer space. Come on a radical, fatical, cosmic sabbatical, just to get a taste of the space race. Space race, space race, space race, space race, 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 space race.
Tongue twisters. Well, I'll be Look who's back. What happened, man? In episode 3, you said you retired. Are you pulling a Jordan? You pulling a Grover Cleveland?
Oh, no. You got it all wrong. I'm definitely not Johnny Kaw. I'm Johnny Kaw's brother.
Is that right?
Donnie Kaw.
Oh, Johnny Kaw, eh?
Yes, Donnie. With a D. Besides, you can tell I'm not my brother, Johnny Kaw, because I have a space helmet on.
Space helmet? Really?
Yes, that's
Because it
correct.
looks to me like you just took half an Easter egg and put it on your head and pretended it's a space helmet.
No.
Because you don't want anyone to know that you are really Johnny Kaw and you regret retiring 2 episodes ago.
No, you got it all wrong. I'm Donnie Kaw. Anyway, here's your clue for where your tongue twister is. I believe that's how you do it on this show. Not that I would know. I've been in outer space watching my brother do the job. Your clue is this. If you look to the sky with a curious eye, then the answers you seek will appear before thy. Telescope. Check your telescope.
At first, I had no clue what Donnie Kaw meant, until I remembered that in my backyard I have the world's second most powerful telescope. It's dark outside, so you can just trust me. I can't show it to you right now. But I went out and looked through it, and it was pointed straight at this planet, Saturn. And it reminded me of this tongue twister. It says, Saturn will clatter with radical rattles, but Natalie's rattle is raddest. Whoa. That's a tough one. Listen again. Saturn will clatter with radical rattles, but Natalie's rattle is raddest. For this one, we're going to add some body percussion ostinato, but we're going to keep it simple at first because this one is really hard. So just do this with me. Knees, knees, clap. We do a clap with 2 fingers like a hand drum. Everyone ready? And say it with me. Saturn will clatter with radical rattles, but Natalie's rattle is raddest. Saturn will clatter with radical rattles, but Natalie's rattle is raddest. Whoa. Let's make it a little tougher with the body percussion. So we'll go pat, pat, clap, head. Ready, and here we go. Saturn will clatter with radical rattles, but Natalie's rattle is raddest. Saturn will clatter with radical rattles, but Natalie's rattle is raddest. What? Now, to up the difficulty just a notch, instead of patting twice, we're going to pat one hand at a time. Pat, pat, clap, head. Ready? Saturn will clatter with radical rattles, but Natalie's rattle is raddest. Saturn will clatter with radical rattles, but Natalie's rattle is raddest. Can you go backwards from high to low? Watch how I do it and do it with me. Everyone ready? Say it with me. Saturn will clatter with radical rattles, but Natalie's rattle is raddest. Saturn will clatter with radical rattles, but Natalie's rattle is raddest. Now for the ultimate challenge. Can you go forwards, then backwards? Try it. Ready and go. Saturn will clatter with radical rattles, but Natalie's rattle is raddest. Saturn will clatter with radical rattles, but Natalie's rattle is raddest. Whoa, I'm glad that's over. And I bet you are too. Nice job. For today's vocal warm-up, we're going to start by doing something that you probably do at least once a day when you're really, really tired. Yawning. Yawning can help us warm up our vocal cords because you slide usually from high to low, like this. Does that sound like how you yawn? I bet it does. This time, yawn with me, and be sure to stretch those arms too. Can you start your yawn a little bit higher? Can you start even higher still? Can you go even higher still? That was a good yawn.
Now it's time for everybody's favorite, the echo song, or as I call it in class, a my turn, your turn song. As always, I'll sing it in my register, and you sing it an octave higher. 1, 2, my turn first. O-U-T-E-R No matter who you are, come to space with me. Oh, what a view! The majesty of space. Oh, what a view! Now crank up the bass. P-L-U-T-O S-O-S-A-D Always in our hearts, still a planet to me. Hey. Canon.
Okay, so today's canon is a lot different from the others because it doesn't use any singing voice. It's not really a song, it's just a repeated chant. The canon part comes in with the movements for this one. So whatever I do, you follow behind me 4 beats with your movements. So if I start out like this, then you would do that movement exactly 4 beats after I start. Sounds confusing at first, but you'll get it. And I'd also like you to say this phrase over and over. Since it's our outer space episode, I'd like you to say, "We go golfing on the moon." You see, there's a very iconic, historic photo of an astronaut testing out how gravity is different on the moon by golfing. I do not own the rights to that photo, so I will not be showing it to you in this video. But you've got the internet, and I bet you can find it. So whatever I do, you let me go first, but you follow behind 4 beats later with this Mr. Parker. Ready? And I'm going to set my metronome so that I keep a nice steady beat and I don't speed up. I go first, you follow behind, do it after me 4 beats later. We go golfing on the moon. 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 We go golfing on the moon.
And now, a word from our sponsor. Today's episode of the House on Music Street is brought to you by Rust. Would you like to turn your car from just okay looking to very hideous looking in a frighteningly short period of time? Try Rust. Rust, making the Toyota Corolla so very Corolla-y since 2008. yeah, woo! Time to reach into the grab bag.
Here we go. I hope I get a doozy. It says, oh, perfect. New birthday song. Now, that does not fit the theme of today's episode. However, we've checked with the Grab Bag Rules Committee, and they say that whatever comes out of there has to be our grab bag for the day. So, the new birthday song. I've always kind of not been a big fan of the regular happy birthday song that we all know for a couple of petulant musical reasons. It's in 3/4 time. It starts on a pickup note. No one can seem to count it in correctly because they're not conductors, and it's a difficult way to start a song. And there's an octave leap in there from low so to regular so. And usually when you get to the higher of those two, people just tend to shout it instead of sing it. So I decided I'll write a new birthday song. And here it is.
Put on a pointy party hat. It's the best day of all. We hope your cake is 10 feet tall. Blow out the candles, hip hip hooray. You're a year older than you were yesterday. Presents to you, yeah, woo! Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Today's story is about a man who lives on the moon. Once upon a time, there was a man named Aiken Drum.
Hi, I'm Aiken Drum. I live on the moon. It's pretty cool, but it's also kind of boring sometimes. So to entertain myself, I think about my life back on Earth and all of my favorite foods. And then I sing my special song.
There was a man lived on the moon, on the moon, on the moon. There was a man lived on the moon, and his name was Aiken Drum. And his feet were made of noodles, noodles, noodles. And his feet were made of noodles, and his name was Aiken Drum. And his legs were made of carrots, carrots, carrots. And his legs were made of carrots, and his name was Aiken Drum. And his body was made of an apple, apple, apple. And his body was made of an apple, and his name was Aiken Drum. And his arms were made of yellow bell peppers, yellow bell peppers, yellow bell peppers. And his arms were made of yellow bell peppers, and his name was Aiken Drum. And his hands were made of grapes, grapes, grapes. And his hands were made of grapes, and his name was Aiken Drum. And his head was made of broccoli, broccoli, broccoli. And his head was made of broccoli, and his name was Aiken Drum. Now I'm not so bored. Back to you, planet Earth. What's in Mr. Parker's house? Don't you wanna know?
Get ready for the weirdest edition yet of... This is an Otamatone. I got this off of Amazon for about $28. It's a foot tall piece of plastic with an electronic, kind of fretboard. This thing is very weird and very silly. What you see here is an instrument that can play in 3 different octaves. Let me play for you the lowest sound. Let me play for you the middle octave. And now let me play for you the highest octave. You may have noticed that I'm squeezing his mouth. This little guy has a speaker inside of his mouth. So to make him really sing, you open his mouth by squeezing on each side. I'm going to demonstrate for you how this sounds, and I'm going to get really close because this instrument's not that loud. This is the theme from 2001 as it's commonly known. It is by Strauss. Switch to the high octave. Get one today.
Stuff for you to do after you finish up the show.
As you can tell, Ted still has not resolved the moon background issue, but that's cool. We're just going to roll with it. Thank you so much for joining us. If you're one of my students, here's what I'd like you to do after the show. You've heard a lot of songs about outer space, both in this episode and in the body warm-up sections of other episodes. Can you write your own outer space song? My advice to you is to keep it simple and short and not try to do too much right away. If you can, I'd like your parents to record it as a voice memo on their phones, and they can submit it to us through our school's online portal. And if you're not one of our students and you want to do the same, you can have your parents record a voice memo and email it to thehouseonmusicstreet@gmail.com. Thanks again for joining us, and I hope you have a great week. Hope to see you again soon. Bye-bye.
Huh.